Hello and warm welcome. I am Rajan Kumar and you are watching EduSpace. Today we are going to discuss RCEP, that is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. You must have come across this terminology since it was in news for 2 to 3 years. But recently it was signed that was on 15th November 2020 during a virtual summit of the ASEAN member which was hosted by Vietnam. It is basically a trading bloc. It is, and its member nations are the 15 member nations are there, out of which 10 are the ASEAN members and 5 of its trading partners. The 10 ASEAN members are Brunei, Singapore, Cambodia, Myanmar, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Laos, and 5 of its trading partners are China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. It accounts for around 30% of the world population and 30% of the world GDP. Looking at its massive scale, you can imagine its impact on the economy of not only of the member nations on the world, but when it was signed, one economic stalwart was missing. That was none other than India. Basically, it is a trading bloc in which there will be a reduction of the tariff. Either it will be reduced up to 90% or it will be eliminated, and a new set of trade policies will be framed, and policies for the intellectual property rights would be framed. Some of the economists were in the favor that India would have joined RCEP because it would have opened doors for the Indian companies for a global value chain, or for the inflow of the FDIs in India. But Indian markets are not so competitive, and even we have seen that India had been following a protectionist set of economic policies since independence, and our priorities have been the protection of the domestic players. So it was quite evident that India would not be the part of RCEP, and the same happened. In the recent times, India have been following self-reliant economy, make in India, local for vocal. So these campaigns were going on, and it was quite evident that India won't be the part of this. Apart from that, the two other regions were that there is a lobby of the farmers, and Indian politics has been revolving around the farmers. So it would have been, if India would have opened its doors for the RCEP, then Australia and New Zealand, where dairy technology is so advanced, so our agriculture and the small farmers would have completely collapsed. Even the RSS-backed farmers organization have opposed it. And after demonetization, GST, we have seen that there was a corona pandemic, and even at present the entire world is suffering from this pandemic. So if at this time India would have opened its door for RCEP, then small traders would have completely destroyed, or means their business would have been completely devastated. So it was a good step, and even the Prime Minister Modi said that he had listened to the voice of his soul, and he had worked in the favor of the weaker section of the society, and the government is responsible, and the government knows the responsibility towards the traders and the farmers. So we think that this decision of not being the part of RCEP is in the interest of the nation. However, to boost the economies, we must follow some of the new economic policies, and in the recent times we may come across the new schemes which will incentivize the new entrepreneurs and new entrants in the business. Since Indian markets are not so competitive, and if India would have opened its market, then there would have been the glut of the Chinese goods. So there was a chance of the trade deficit. And even when we are talking about this being self-reliant, we have seen that there was a jump in import from the China as well. So we have to look after this as well, and we have to frame such policies that our domestic market grows, and when we open our markets for the world players, or we join either in the future we may join RCEP or CPTPP. So at that level we are not at the disadvantage but having an advantage also. Let's see what happens in the future. Okay, thank you very much.